The question I want to ask you so we can move forward is
Okay.
Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. What do ordinary people remember of him?
Of course, most notably, he was our first prime minister of our very first republic. That's the most outstanding feature we remember about Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. He was our first prime minister of Nigeria, and then he was an astute politician and a leader. He was loyal. He's a sincere Democrat. Right? He believes in freedom of the opposition. The majority have the say, the minority, like to the core. He embraced people from every part of Nigeria, as it were. He never discriminated. He was not controversial. He didn't create problems. He was sincere. Like, one of the biggest legacies about Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa was the fact that his intentions were genuine towards Nigeria. He always wanted political reforms and the unity of the Nigerian nation state. Those were the things that he firmly represented, and he didn't want to be misunderstood about this particular aspirations he had for Nigeria. So, as much as he was trying to do other things like defend northern interest or be loyal and everything, he still wanted to be largely remembered as a very sincere Democrat, firm to his words, loyal to every agreement or every set agreement that we have, and all that. So that was what he stood for. This is what he's largely remembered for. One of our soundest and very sincere politicians that we have. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Now, what can you say about his assassination? That also is very important. This is a human being. He has a family. He's the first prime minister of the country, and he was assassinated. That is very sad. Tell us something about that.
Yes, his assassination was very, very, it was a very sad development in Nigerian history, because it was very, very uncharacteristic that we just finished fighting for independence and then we are beginning to kill our leaders by ourselves. It was so contradictory. It was contrasting. You want to wrap your head around it. But we're not the ones that just finished gaining independence, not up to a decade. And then the first self-governance that we have by ourselves, we go ahead to assassinate and stage a coup d'etat and say, we want something different. So it questions what we really want as a nation. That time, it questioned our aspirations or ambitions or what we actually want to represent. Now, his assassination happened at the time when the coup plotters thought they were trying to assassinate all top politicians in Nigeria at that time. But in the history books, you see that there was what seemed to be like an error. The northern leaders, northern leaders in the central government were assassinated, leaders in the southwest were assassinated, but the ones in the southeast were not, so, and then it ushered in a military head of state that came from the southeast where their political leaders at that time were not assassinated during the coup. So it raised further suspicions again as to, okay, is the southeast trying to prove that they have another agenda apart from the common agenda we had in assassinating all these political leaders that we had? So it now prepared another counter coup again. So his assassination was it threw Nigeria into a serious turmoil. It questioned our aspiration and our ambition as a nation state, as a country, Nigeria. Like, what do we really want in government? What's our aspiration? Him as a person representing the North felt like our leaders were assassinated. Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa and then Sir Obehi. Like, these are the two pillars that we had in the central government and at the regional levels there, but they were assassinated. So his absence meant a lot. His assassination was very, very shocking. It questioned our existence, actually. It questioned our aspirations as a country. Looking at, he never caused any trouble, and then that assassination. So largely, that's how it's being remembered up till date.
And there are consequences for that assassination, for that death, no? Do you think there is anything that he could have done to avoid this scenario? Because it actually led to a different trajectory for Nigeria. And actually, we are suffering from it today, 2022.
Uh, not much, not much in his power. I don't think there was a lot he could do in his power individually that to avoid the coup d'etat, because what we could count as his error, or what we could say, okay, he could have done so that Nigeria could have been different to avoid that military intervention, was maybe he would have been more firm in emphasizing his decisions or his aspirations for Nigeria. He would have been stricter than he was. He would have been more demanding in terms of peace and resolution of conflict and harmony in the country. He would have shown low tolerance for disunity and turmoil in Nigeria. What I mean by that is, you see, the issue in the Southwest as at that time, it is largely acclaimed that he never handled it well. And already there were existing rivalries all over the Southeast, the Southwest, but that one in the Southwest escalated. And so because he didn't manage it well, the military at that time felt Nigeria is falling apart. And for them, that time, they were feeling they were saving Nigeria. I want to give you a little sneak peek into the military mindset that time. They were feeling, no, we need to save Nigeria. So let us come in. That was their mindset. Let's save Nigeria from these weak politicians that are not getting things going. In their usual manner, they will tell you they are coming in to clear the audience tables and return normalcy and then go back to the barracks. So that was what they thought they were trying to do, because they felt, no, these leaders are not managing this country well. Let us come in and clear the airwaves and then restore normalcy, make sure everything is, there's a perfect structure that is running, and then we go back. So if you look at it in this light, to look as though, yes, indeed he was not, and indeed I really feel from my studies, he was not very strong-willed in addressing the situations at hand internally in the country. So if he was firm and more strict and very resolute in resolving these issues, I don't think it will lead to that military intervention. The military will still be in the barracks. They won't contemplate intervening in politics. They won't, because if you look at, as at that time when that assassination took place, military intervention was common in Africa. A lot of countries across West Africa were also experiencing military intervention. And what was the military's excuse? They tell you these civilians are corrupt, they are not keeping the country in good shape, they are not, so we are going there to restore normalcy and go back. So the military in Nigeria felt, if it's the same thing, maybe it's the same thing in Nigeria, so let's go in there and clear it and so they struck. So for him, it felt as though he was looking at the waves of military intervention across West Africa and other parts of Africa, and then the internal crisis happening in Nigeria. He didn't manage all of it well. He was not decisive and very resolute. If he was more firm, he could have avoided the military from intervening and even leading to his assassination.
Because actually, he is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. The same armed forces that rose up against him. Of course, not only him. This have been happening in many other places, like the United States. With the assassination are almost countless of prominent people in politics. But only that they are usually different. Even like the one that happened in Ghana. Maybe they tried a similar thing was what was planned in Nigeria. Only that it happened differently. That it was not carried to a fruition, so it led to it become even more dangerous now than if it had happened. But in overall, it is difficult after you take the life of another person and you start to talk, hey, okay, let's forget it. Because yes, but let's forget it. But are you able to bring back the life that you have taken? Because life has too costly to be taken just like that. No, so assassination, killing people in power, is not something very simple to understand. There are consequences for that.
But let me cut you a little bit. Sorry. This thing you're saying now, it's very difficult for the military to understand because in their training, remember, they are trained to kill. They are trained to kill anything they perceive as the enemy. So once you are being perceived, I'm not saying they are correct. I'm just trying to give you an insight to their mindset. They are trained to kill. They are trained. They are under oath to do anything to defend the territorial integrity and the sovereignty of where they belong. So for the case of Nigeria. So for them now, anything they feel is a threat to Nigeria, they feel it is their duty to defend it. Defending it means they could kill, they could spill blood, they could cause damage. If it's in the name of defending the sovereignty of Nigeria, they will do it. Normal. And for them, they are just being professional. But for us as civilians, of course. So I'm just trying to give you an insight into their mindset. That's why, just go ahead.
Oh, well, and that can even be very interesting, okay, that they try to defend the constitution, let's say so, because it's the constitution that set up the military too, because without the Nigerian constitution, there is the politicians are just ordinary people, the military, the police, everybody is equal, no? Because everybody is the same. If that was the case, they killed the prime minister, and then, of course, the president become the head of state, and so they will rearrange the system again.
Yeah.
But we see that the military coming in now. Okay, we are not going to talk about the military culture in Nigeria. It's an argument that we're also going to talk about because it's very interesting. Because for a very long period, 37 years or so, we'll be having military running the system. We see them coming to stay. Not that they come to rectify the error, like the one that happened in the United States where they assassinated the president. Of course, election need to be done. And of course, it's a complex system, but of course, we see that the military doesn't come and take over now. Because I don't think the military are actually trained to administer complex system that we have, no? Become head of state, having election. Because the logic is completely different.